All right, I am here at one Newport place in Atlanta and taking a look at any condition issues, anything I can see here that might be a problem or be of concern. The chimney guy was here looking at this, so I got to talk to him a little bit about his findings as well. In my opinion, most of what she's got going on here is going to be chimney related or brick or otherwise brick related. The chimney professional kind of concurs on that. I'll let him elaborate really more on the findings there and kind of what's the needed fix. But I think it probably won't be a foreign story to the board when they get it, because we look across through here and we see other chimneys that have been fixed the same way he's suggesting we fix this one. One thing I would point out, though, I mean, these flat roofs were probably a good idea by the architect when he was drawing it up on paper, but honestly not the best functional roof for what we're doing here. There's a way to do it. It's just this really wasn't done correctly. What probably should have been done is this flat roof should have had a pitched insulation board underneath it that would have created a ridge line down the middle of this roof running this way, and that would have pitched water to flow down that way and flow down that way. Now, that being said, though, I don't think we've got a huge problem with water coming straight through the membrane. This membrane is built to hold ponding water. It's fine like that. Where you end up having problems are on penetration. So in other words, where we've got these seams right here, those are mechanically welded together. All right, and so what happens is sometimes you can get a cold seam on that. If you don't have water moving and it sits on a seam, it can come on through. Likely, more than likely, when this gentleman does everything he does with his with the brickwork and the chimney work, I'd be willing to bet that solves her leaks that she's got going on. But if it doesn't, the other thing that we've got, and it's a bigger problem than just this unit, is just that these things really weren't flashed properly to begin with. That's the same thing I've seen on the other units that I've inspected in the neighborhood. But I think that we may be able to have a fix for this whole picture here if things go the way I think they can go. And let me show you what I'm talking about. The roofs, the parapet walls, I mean, pretty much everything here is showing pretty significant signs that there was some big hail that hit this place. You know, I did the same thing that an adjuster would do, and I turned my chalk sideways and I chalked these caps right here, and you can see there was some significant hail that hit this. When I put my finger beside this, you can see that some of these dents are 2 inches wide. That's the kind of hail that you pay your homeowner's insurance for. And you know, when you take that information over to the shingles, because if you're going to have hail that big, it's going to damage the shingles. What I look for is corresponding spots on the shingles that would match what I've found on the metal. And you can see here that we've got that. You've got these corresponding spots, the same size as the hail that hit the metal. This is the same kind of forensic inspection that an insurance adjuster is going to do. You know, they're looking for clues of what happened. They'll look at storm dates to see if there was actually hail big enough here to have actually done this. But when you've got metal that tells the story like that, and it's on pretty much every cap here, it pretty much it tells the story of what you got here and what you're looking at on these shingles. We've also got some wind damage going on, so you can see here how this shingle's creased across the top, how this shingle here is creased across the top. So the insurance adjuster will treat that the same as if those shingles are gone. And so I went ahead and looked over here a little bit as well. And again, just to reiterate, it's been months ago at this point for me, the last time I was out here, but I've inspected most of the buildings out here. They've all got these same conditions. It's a little bit of wind damage here and multiple areas of hail damage across the roof. So in my opinion, what ought to happen here is we ought to file a claim. I've got all the same certifications that the insurance adjusters do. I'd want to be here when the adjuster comes out, and I'll just hold them accountable. You guys have sent me the insurance policy, so I know the language there and the coverage. I'll meet the adjuster here and see if we can make this thing happen. If we can do that, there's a couple of things that might happen. They may pay to replace only the shingles and then only the caps on the parapet walls. And they may not do anything with these flat roofs. All right, but either way, that gets us a whole lot further towards a solution than we are right now. And I can work up the difference on the price to go ahead and redo the flat roofs. Now, if I do if things go really as planned, I can get the adjuster to pay for the flat roofs too, because these have what's called indirect physical damage. In other words, if he's going to agree to replace these shingles, well, that affects this membrane. And so they would owe to replace this membrane due to the policy having an indirect physical loss clause in it. So now that I'm past all the boring terminology, the long and short of it is that I think we ought to file an insurance claim. I want to meet the adjuster here. There's an authorization form that I'll send you guys that you've got to sign, and that gives me permission to speak to the adjuster, gives the adjuster permission to talk to me about your policy, and it further states that I'd be your contractor if I can get everything approved for you. The way the pricing goes, you wouldn't need price from me or from any other contractor on this. When it's an insurance claim, the insurance company sets the price, the contractor honors the adjuster's price. It keeps things clean and easy for the board. The only exposure you guys have will be the deductible. And then if we are going to do any upgrades to things, like the adjuster doesn't pay for this flat roof and we're going to replace all of those, that would be, additional. So that's my recommendation on it. Regarding this wall over here and what's going on with it, just like with any other repair, you do them from the top down. I would say let's let this gentleman do what he's going to do with the chimney right here, because let's fix what we know what needs to be fixed first, and then see if that solves the problem regarding her leak. But I don't think there's an immediate concern for us to start replacing this roof or tearing out this flashing right here after he does what he's going to do. It might be problem solved for her specific leak right here. So this is Casey Beaver. I am with ARAC Roof It Forward. Thank you very much.